Always great to bring in Buster Olney now from Citi Field. Buster, it goes without saying, the offensive numbers for Ohtani are off the charts for the Dodgers, but he's getting closer to returning as a pitcher. He faced live hitters today. What's the next step after today?
Yeah, and Kevin, they were really encouraged by what they saw today. His fastball velocity up to 97 miles per hour, throwing all of his pitches. But we do need to put this into context. He's probably 2 months away from pitching in a big league game. They have to build up his pitch count. They'll do some kind of a simulated game action as they get closer to the All-Star break, when they hope that he's going to return to the rotation. Maybe with Tyler Glasnow, maybe with Blake Snell. Look, the way that the Dodgers have gone with injuries this year, they'll take any help they can. As you know, starting today, they're first in the big leagues in bullpen innings.
They certainly could use that arm to come around. Buster saying about 2 months conservatively for Ohtani. And then, Buster, the big three of Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman, they get all the shine. But Will Smith is quietly putting together a sterling season.
Yeah, 100%. Look, hitting .336 coming into the game tonight. .457 on base percentage, which is #1 in baseball. Last year, he had a 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. This year, it's 1-to-1. Dave Roberts was telling us, man, he'd done a great job in his at-bats, getting to 2 strikes, spoiling pitches, and either finding a way on base or maybe doing some damage.
Just another guy in that lineup that can beat you in a lot of different ways. Buster, stand by. Dodgers lineup is going to face Kodai Senga, who, if he qualified, would be second in baseball with a 1.43 ERA. Francisco Lindor, fresh off his 1,400th career start at short. Juan Soto is going to hit third. More on him in a moment. Brett Beatty in the 9-hole since May 9th, hitting .359 with 5 home runs. But, Buster, we've detailed it quite the week for Juan Soto. Patience wearing a little thin among Mets fans there in New York. How significant was that 2-run double last night?
Oh, I think it was a huge step for him. Look, I was in the stands last night, and when his name was introduced, there was a small smattering of boos, and then when a fly ball fell in front of him early in the game, same thing. But when he hit that 2-run double, this place absolutely exploded. And just before I came on with you, Kevin, I had a fan yelling at me from the stands, basically saying, tell everybody we love Juan Soto. The Mets staff has been working overtime to protect Soto today, telling us how good he's been around the clubhouse.
Short-term memories there in New York. I like it, Buster. And then they got to love Kodai Senga, right? A 1.19 whip, ERA under 1.5 on the year. What's been the secret to his success?
Well, the fact that he can read opposing hitters. When we talked to Carlos Mendoza earlier today, he said, look, there have been games when opposing teams have looked for that ghost forkball, and then Senga realizes that and then uses his fastball. He's obviously been incredibly important for this Mets team, which has relied on its pitching so much early in the year. 1.43 ERA coming into this start.
Senga-Knack, the pitching matchup in what could potentially be a preview of the NLCS. Buster Olney, great stuff. We look forward to you on the broadcast tonight, and potentially Pete Alonso's big bat in that lineup. We got X in the lab.
Stephen Cohen, Guggenheim Corporation, they got a whole bunch of money, and they have invested a ton in both of these teams. The Dodgers and the Mets, 64 degrees here at Citi Field. Mr. and Mrs. celebrating Memorial Day weekend and paying tribute to all those that have served this country so admirably. Francisco Lindor, today's a significant day in his life. He'll explain why as he joins us on the microphone. These two teams are two of the best in baseball and certainly two of the favorites to perhaps take home a World Series trophy. 32-20, 31-21. They have split the first 2 games of this series. Welcome inside our booth. An honor to be here with David Cohen, Eduardo Perez. We'll hear from Buster Olney in just a bit. Star power, you got it right here on this field with likely 5, 6, maybe even more future Hall of Famers.
And we're going to see them in the first inning, a lot of them, and I think that is really cool. And the one that we're not going to see mentioned in this list right here is the star himself. It's Starling Marte because that's his name. But everyone else, it's Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman. You'll see them there. Francisco Lindor, Juan Soto in the 3 spot. You'll see him as well. This is a great star-studded lineup in the first inning, must watch from the get-go. And yesterday, it all became real when Juan Soto was able to get that off-speed pitch, locate it real well in the barrel, and hit it off the wall to drive in 2 bases loaded. Starling Marte getting caught at home plate by Mookie Betts. but still, what a great start for this Sunday Night Baseball with Juan Soto getting that
We'll
double.
talk much more about Juan Soto. Meantime, the story of the game, the Mets pitching, the Dodgers offense, and yet amazingly in this series, Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman, you can see they are 2 hits, and that's it combined. And yet they've won one of these games. The other superstar on this team, of course, is Shohei Ohtani, who we saw throwing earlier today. And I'll be honest, he looked like he'd be ready to pitch in a game tomorrow night. We'll get to that in a moment. But it's Kodai Senga, the other Japanese pitcher on the mound tonight for the Mets.
And he has been as good as anybody in the game so far this year. After missing almost all of last year, he has bounced back with a vengeance this year. And he's got a famous pitch. You're going to talk about it a lot tonight, the ghost forkball. And it really does sort of disappear, but that 1.43 ERA leads the National League, keeps the ball in the ballpark predominantly because of this pitch. And the reason it's so effective is look at the hitter commit and then the movement comes late. That's the nirvana for any pitcher. If you can get late movement, the waterfall effect on that ghost split is real. And the steepness of the break is real as well. We'll get into that as we see that pitch tonight.
One of the best ERAs in the major leagues this season, Kodai Senga. He of that famous ghost fork pitch. So it's the ghost against the guy that likes to be a ghostbuster. That's Shohei Ohtani. He's a unicorn. And again, he looks like he could pitch tomorrow. We'll show you a video of that and talk about what we learned about Ohtani on the mound. But tonight, it's Ohtani at the plate. And it all sets up for showtime in the Big Apple on Sunday Night Baseball. Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? Big red apple outside of Citi Field, home to the New York Mets, as we go coast to coast with the Mets and the Dodgers. And behind the Golden Gates, these two teams have combined to commit $644 million plus this year to build their rosters. The only two teams to spend over $300 million. They say money can't buy happiness, but big dollars have historically led to major success. Since 95-25 of the 26 teams to win it all, top 10 in payroll. Deep pockets land the biggest fish, like Ohtani and Mookie, Lindor and Soto. They also bring a whole bunch of quality depth. So when you combine dollars, dogs, and depth, will it all add up to destiny for one of these two teams? And on Memorial Day, last year, 5 of the top 6 teams that were in first place made it to the postseason. The only one that didn't were the Seattle Mariners. They were beaten by the Astros in the West. Tonight, a huge showdown. Soto, of course, Ohtani still doing just hitting, but soon to be pitching. It is a huge story.
Blast. And that is a tremendous sign for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Buster, 22 pitches, hit 96, 97. What are the plans?
The plans are that it's going to be a while before he pitches in a major league game, probably about 2 months. I think the Dodger dream scenario is he's part of their rotation coming out of the All-Star break. And so for now, with the Dodgers pitching staff absolutely ravaged by injuries, the way Ohtani could best help this team is going to be with his offense, because they're going to need margin for error. And they're hoping for a lot of run production from the top of that order.
You talk about playing the long game, and they have been really patient. I mean, think about the injuries that they have suffered on the pitching side of things and the anxiety to say, oh boy, if we can get Ohtani back, we'd be a lot better off. There appears to be none of that, and they're in the middle of arguably the toughest stretch of their schedule.
If anybody can play the long game, it's the Dodgers, because they've been there. They're playing with equity, with house money right now, because they know the formula. Stay in it, make a big rush late, and then get into postseason. They know what to do in postseason.
Last year around this time, we saw them in Philly, and they had a lot of their star players hurt. They don't have those star players, offensive players hurt right now, and the best thing that they can do is try to keep afloat, play that 500, and then take off in the second half, and that could happen, but right now, they're focused on tonight.
It's a great point about where they were at that point last year, how they survived, and of course, ended up taking it all. Kodai Senga on the mound against a Dodger offense that is amongst, if not the best in baseball. They lead the majors in average, in home runs, and in OPS.
And everyone pays attention to the first 3, but you cannot go to sleep on Teoscar Hernandez and Max Muncy, who takes a lot of pitches and is starting to see the ball better, especially with his new specs that he's going on 3 weeks of using.
Kodai Senga on the mound off of not necessarily one of his best outings against the Red Sox, but the number in the upper left-hand corner is one of the best of all times for the New York Mets in their first 9 games. He does strike a lot out, especially if that ghost fork pitch of his is up until very late and then it drops. Here's the list. The lowest ERA through the first 9 starts of the season. The Degrominator back in 2021 and some guy named Cone in 88, 114. We kind of quizzed Carlos Mendoza on this, and we said, all right, DeGrom, and he got that right off the bat, and then he started throwing names at it. He said, how far back do I have to go? I said, you don't have to leave the room. I mean, the man is right in the room.
Well, I'll cut him some slack because I don't recognize that kid anymore either. I don't even know who that guy is anymore, so I know what he's saying. But if you look at Ohtani and Senga, how about a first pitch matchup right here? 2 countrymen, both of them superstars. Senga's only given up 1 home run, one on the year so far. Ohtani's going to be ready to hit.
That guy right there is a 32-year-old on the mound against Ohtani, and Shohei comes in hitting .296, 17 homers. He's right there with Aaron Judge. He's got over 30 RBIs. How about 53 runs through 50 games? That, the walks, and the homer, all career highs for a guy who gets booed no matter where he is, except Los Angeles. Out of respect.
Tell you what, a lot of people are up in Tokyo. It's 8:11 in the morning, Monday morning, and they're watching this 1-2 battle.
As he steps in, he leads the majors in slugging. His average exit velocity is near 100 miles an hour. And we are set on Sunday night. And the first one misses away. He decided to start him off with a cutter. Mets infield has Mark Vientos at third. Lindor is at short. Brett Beatty, who's been phenomenal offensively and defensively, is at second. And that ball is smoked. He has now given up 2 home runs as he goes upper deck. Ohtani's 18th of the year. 2 pitches in. LA 1. The Mets nothing.
Did he know it? I mean, Shohei Ohtani, when he hits him, you know that he knows. And as soon as contact was made, takes 3 left turns and puts the Dodgers on the board immediately on the second pitch of the game.
What'd you say? 1 home run all year?
Yep, and this guy was going to be ready to hit. Center. You might be just getting off the 7 train. Look up, because it's coming at you.
Here's Mookie Betts now, and Senga already in a Ohtani-sized hole. 411 feet it traveled. It was 108 off the bat. And it's every ball